Yes, what's good, people? It's Blunt from the Don't Gas podcast. I'm very proud and excited to announce that we've got a new show coming to the YouTube channel for Don't Gas, where we're going to talk all things boxing. We're going to talk news, we're going to do big event coverage, and also we're going to take a deep dive into the rich, lengthy history of the sport. Okay, I'm going to be joined by two brand new members to the Don't Gas team. We've got Crutch and Matt, and between us, we're going to break everything down. Okay, so we'd all like to welcome everyone to Don't Gas the Belt. Yes, people, as promised, this is the pilot episode of Don't Gas the Belt, where, like I say, we're going to talk all things boxing. And for this first episode, we just so happen to be a couple of days outside of one of the biggest fights of the decade, if not the century so far. And obviously, as I mentioned, I've got my co-host with me, Crutch. How are we doing, mate, guys?
Yeah, I'm good, mate, yeah.
Yeah. You decided on this fight yet, or are you still...
I don't know. No, I'm still not completely decided. And I think I'm in the same boat as everyone else. You know, you go back and forward, and I am.
There's too many variables in it, and I think that's one of the beauty of the fight.
Yeah, it's kind of giving me a little bit of, sort of a feeling of like Bivol
Batarev.
Yeah. You can't really, until you've seen the both of them together, you can't understand how they're going to try and strategy wise.
There's such a contrast in styles as well, isn't it, between the two fighters? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just want to touch on the event as a whole at first. I mean, obviously, when the fight first got mentioned, I didn't think there'd be a cat and mouse chance of this fight getting made because of obviously the difference in weight. But we're here; it's happened. What are your thoughts so far on the event itself, the build-up?
I think the build-up for me has been pretty poor, if I'm being honest. I think you're obviously going to have your stalwart fans that are all just going to tune into this fight regardless. But you put it on Netflix, and it's the biggest
platform in the world, isn't it?
And you've got an opportunity to get new fans involved. And if they're going to see the fight that we hope we're going to see, then they're going to be starting like, wait there, I want to see the next fight, I want to see the next boxer, I want to, get really into the sport. Yeah. And I think there's been a letdown a little bit there.
Yeah, I think as well, obviously, with certain fights, obviously, you've seen in the past where fighters will use sort of friction and chew and attitude to sell a fight. Do you know what I mean? Little flashpoints, whether they're scripted or not, whether they generally hate each other. But I think with these two, you're just talking about two absolute consummate professionals.
You shouldn't need it. You shouldn't need that with these.
Yeah, you shouldn't do. Yeah, I agree.
They both got resumes. We'll go on to that a little bit later. But I think the way they fought over the last 10 years should speak for itself.
Mm.
And as I say, you're going to get those stalwart fans that are going to tune into this regardless of whether it's for Eminem or not.
Mm.
But it was a missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah, I think they could have plugged it a bit more. I don't know whether that's because obviously they brought Dana White in, and obviously he's done a great job with the UFC, but obviously he's fledgling with boxing. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think you've got a young generation. I've got a son that's 19 and he's very much into his UFC. He loves his boxing, but a lot of his friends are more into the UFC. So bringing Dana White in, I think, was a good move.
Yeah, it might have been a good move. I don't know whether it's a bit of a situation, whereas obviously for a long time, like, UFC was putting boxing to shame, wasn't it? And I think it's had a bit of a lull, and obviously with the introduction of Turkey Al-Sheikh, and he's basically forcing the fights that we've always wanted, making the impossible fights possible, innit? And I wonder whether Dana White sort of jumped on the sort of coattails of the movement as such.
Yeah. Well, he's a businessman at the end of the day, so of course he's going to.
But I think if he's going to jump in, he has to bring something new. But it was just for me, like, the build up just seemed a bit flat. It was just a case of, like, you got them two. I mean, I watched the two build up episodes on Netflix, and they're good, they're well presented, but it's nothing we've not seen before with, obviously, 24/7 and stuff. The things that Floyd started with, I think, was Showtime.
You want to turn Netflix on, they'd be like, bam, there in your face.
Yeah.
For everybody that turns Netflix on.
Yeah. They need to be selling it, don't they?
It's not, unfortunately.
The one concern I've got with Netflix is obviously when they've put the big fights on recently, it's crashed on it. Do you know what I mean? And obviously,
Yeah.
I think they may have underestimated the popularity of the fights that they've put on, but obviously, as the biggest platform in the world, you've got to be able to handle the sort of internet traffic of it all, innit? So I do have a little bit of a concern about that, but that's nitpicking, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The gift in this fight to population where the majority of people already have the subscription.
Yeah.
So they've got access to it,
Like-
rather than going, right, 20, 25, 30, 40 pound pay-per-view.
Yeah,
You're not getting that.
Yeah, you'd have to assume that
You've got to
Netflix now
appreciate
is the more sort of like widely used platform, and it's like the old school terrestrial television. You know what I mean? It's like
Oh,
I don't know anyone that doesn't have Netflix or uses someone else's.
I remember watching Nazim on Channel 5 years ago as a kid. Doesn't happen now.
Well, this is it, isn't it? But just thinking about the fight, obviously, because I've been back and forwards, left, right, and centre with this one, because of just all of the unknowns. Look at Canelo first, right? Now, obviously, take nothing away from me, he dared to be great going up against Bivol. We've seen him go up against Kovalev. Kovalev was not in the sort of skill bracket that Canelo and Bivol are. And
No.
I think...
No, and on that, I seen an interview with Kel Brook this week, and he was talking about going up weights, and it's like, if you're going up against a mediocre or a very good boxer, going up against your Golovkins, your Canelos, it's a different story. And
Yeah.
he's got the tale to tell.
Yeah.
And he said it's a completely different game. You
Yeah.
can go up against someone half decent, or even challenging for a world title, and you can get over that. But when you're talking about established fighters that have already won these titles and already held these titles for some time, it's a big difference.
I mean, look at Usyk's success. He's gone up, obviously, through the weights up to heavyweight, and as it's proved that he is so far ahead, skill-wise, that not really presented with a challenge. But when Canelo went up against Bivol, who is highly skilled as Canelo is, I think the extra size and the extra weight told, because he was able to bully him a little bit, if that's not the...
I think the margins are a lot tighter when you're looking at like anywhere between sort of your lightweight, your welterweights to your middleweights. They're a lot tighter than they are between, say, a cruiser to a heavyweight and then to a super heavyweight. God knows how many heavyweight sort of bands we've got now. It's getting ridiculous, isn't it? So when you look at when he went against Bellew, fine, but Bellew was a big cruiser.
Yeah.
So then
And
stepping up into
yeah.
the heavy, it wasn't that big of a jump for me. And the sort of the speed of the punches didn't really change too much, especially for Usyk.
Yeah.
And I think I felt his advantage.
Yeah, and obviously, like, because of the skill, you climbed test quite quickly, didn't
Yeah,
you?
exactly,
You know what I mean? But obviously, like, say, you're looking at Canelo, obviously he's done it for, like, what is he, in the 21st year of his professional career now, started a 15-year-old. So obviously, miles on the clock. I mean, he's 3 years younger than Crawford, I believe, if I'm not wrong. Feel free to tell us in the comments. But he's boxed nearly twice as many rounds as him. I mean, like, he's in the 500s, you know what I mean? I think Crawford's around, well, 260 rounds boxed.
Yeah, but then that comes back to you saying, okay, well, Canelo, he's battle-hardened. He is battle-hardened.
Yeah.
But he's also battle-weathered.
Which is a great point.
And I think this fight has come at the perfect time for both fighters. They're both at a level and a point in their career where I think it's an even match. You know, it's not just an up-and-coming boxer getting a boxer on his decline. I think they're both... So,
The
just
just was the twilight of the career, aren't
they're
they?
a little bit past the peak. You're coming in, say, 80-90% of where you were your best. But I think they both come in at the same level.
Yeah, but it speaks a lot for like the ability and the talent of both fighters that basically like they can do this at, like I say, the twilight of the career, and it still captures the imagination of like certainly like the proper boxing fans, you know, like, and there's nothing against the casuals, but like the fact that we can sit down and look at any given fight, can't we? I mean, like, we had a conversation about Crawford versus Spence, and we didn't give Spence much of a chance in that one, as it turned out to be right. Often when you make a prediction on boxing, you know, you can get it wrong.
Yeah, I think we both agreed Spence was maybe a little bit overrated when you started looking back at who he's fought.
Yeah.
Maybe he's overrated a little bit.
Yeah.
But then again, I also think we underrated Crawford a little bit.
Yeah, well, actually, you know what it was like?
And that's why
Crawford's...
it was the masterclass it was.
I don't know why with Crawford. I don't know whether it's a case of he doesn't like getting involved with the promotion or anything, or like turning himself, like whether he's just so dedicated to the sport. But he's never really turned into that superstar that he probably should. We're talking about someone that's been undisputed for belt here in 2 different weight classes and could be by this time next week in 3 different weight classes, which has never been done before.
No.
But you've got like Canelo. He's only recently learned how to speak English.
I think that comes down to Crawford's style, though. He's not the flamboyance like when you look back at the likes of Nazim and what have you.
Yeah, there's no like the showmanship of it.
No,
He's
there's
very
nothing
much
like
just
that.
about
No,
the game.
it's
He's just
boxing
about the fucking.
It's boxing
Go on in,
101.
do my job.
Boxing 101, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, and he changes his game plan throughout the fight.
Yeah.
For those chapters.
Yeah.
No.
No, I agree with you. That's one thing to be said about like Crawford's boxing IQ. Is like, I'll give you an example. Kell Brook. I mean, obviously you got Kell Brook when he was coming to the twilight of his career, but Kell Brook was never any joke, was he?
No.
And Kell Brook had a little bit of success in the early rounds, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? And then he just literally just switched it up, and I think it was a stiff jab, wasn't it? That did the job in like the 4th round.
Really shook him.
But I think like you see fighters like this, sometimes they're a victim of their own success, aren't they? Because they're like the boogeyman. Nobody wants to know.
Yeah.
And that could be the problem.
Yeah. We've seen that happen every single weight now, haven't we?
Some people want to be superstars, some people just want to excel, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll dodge fights to maintain that all, as long as they can.
But obviously we've said about how hard this is to call. And a lot of the people that I watch online,
I've been
trust their opinions.
back and forth like a pinball for the last couple of weeks now.
Why do you think that is?
Because, Crawford can adapt throughout the fight. Every single fight he's gone at, you've seen it several times, he's gone in, he's took first 3 rounds, sussing it out, and then changed his tactic.
Yeah.
And then come the 7th, 8th, he's changed it again.
Yeah.
Switching southpaw.
Yeah.
But then again, you've got to go back to the weight class. And it's 2 jumps.
Yeah. It is 2 jumps, and like I was saying earlier on, it's like it could be like technically sort of 3 because he only had 1 fight at 154.
Technically, it'd be 3, yeah.
And that was not a stellar performance. I don't know whether he's put it in a bad performance, but obviously he was sort of out of his comfort zone.
As convincing as you'd like to be.
And Madrimov's awkward. But we've since seen Madrimov like get beat by the name escapes me now, but I was a little bit shocked to see like he's looked a little bit sort of mediocre against a couple of fighters since, but like I think the problem I got with Crawford when he went up to 154 is it looked a little bit laboured and his guard was getting punched through. And he did get caught flush in the pocket a couple of times. There was a different gravy between getting caught flush with Madrimov and getting caught flush with Canelo, do you know?
I think that comes to carrying the weight. I mean, we've seen him in the build-up this week, he looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But fighting in the ring and looking fantastic in a face-off are 2 different things.
Yeah.
So yeah, he looks huge, to be fair.
Yeah.
Considering he looks like he's putting it on really well, but whether he'll be able to carry that into the fight, maintain his in and out distance, maintain that speed on that jab.
Yeah.
And then he's got to rely on throwing 2 more punches in every combination that Canelo does.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you because obviously we touched on the Errol Spence. Like,
that weight might take its toll.
I was shocked how easy he just pulled Errol Spence into the little traps he was setting.
Yeah.
He done it very, very easily, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that the difference between Errol Spence and Canelo won't really take the bait like that. Do you know what I mean?
No, and if he does, Canelo can take the punch better.
Yeah, I don't think you're ever gonna see Canelo get knocked out or stopped. Like when that Triple G punch landed flush, and it was just a case of like
shook his head.
you look and you think like, and I remember the Daniel Jacobs fight where he looked phenomenal defensively, and that he took about like 3 big left hands on the trot. And you can see fighters' sort of hearts fucking break. Do you know what I mean? When they like the thing like this is it, this is the home run.
Well, I seen an interview this week where they were interviewing Canelo on the side. Who's your hardest fight and who's the hardest hit him around? Yeah, and he said his hardest fight was Golovkin, obviously. So the hardest hitter. No, I wasn't expecting this. He said James Kirkland.
James Kirkland hardest hitter.
Yeah, he said straight away. He said I was like, this guy's gonna hurt me.
I
need to get him out.
Like,
I need to get him out. So he said he took sort of a bit of a gamble to try and get him out early because otherwise he was going to get hurt.
And that was a masterful performance as well against Kirkland, wasn't he? Where he just used the feints to the body and whatnot. And that's what like Canelo
just
do.
drop
Like
that
he
guard
doesn't
and open
like.
it up.
That's the thing with Canelo. He doesn't use that jab as a sort of like pugilist weapon. It's all just range set up like
it's a rangefinder. And I've said this to you, God knows how many times. His counter punching
I think it's underrated.
It's phenomenal.
He's underrated as a counter puncher.
And his counter punches come straight from the hips. Every single one is a power shot.
Yeah.
You know, look at Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah. And he had a lot of success in that fight, didn't he? And he
Saunders,
downloaded him.
Billy Joe Saunders made the scoring points left, right, and centre, and he was picking them off brilliantly. I think the ring size didn't help Billy Joe Saunders, but then that's how they negotiate.
That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, you're the A fighter, you get to negotiate on your terms.
He just watched the pattern, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was just waiting for it to dip, that's how it went bump. And like,
Just
it's
pull
one
out
of them,
the
like,
cut.
if you do that to someone with one punch, like, it's a bit naughty, isn't it? Like, let's be honest, like, I mean, fuck it out. I mean,
Well,
I think if Ben Davis hadn't pulled him out, which he'd done the right thing to get him out of there. Like, Billy Joe would have fought him, wouldn't he? Like,
Oh, of course he was,
but I had him up, do you know what I mean? It's like
I
one
had
of the
him
things, but but the thing about the Billy Joe Saunders fight for me is like, I think Billy Joe was having genuine success, whereas like, say we were seeing Canelo with like Amir Khan, for instance, he was letting him just do his work, because all he was doing is he was just reading the patterns, and just waiting for that, just timing that right hand, because he knew when it lands, he's just going to earth him.
Because Khan was having a lot of success with that jab, and he was in and out with that jab so often, and he was landing them. But it didn't hurt him at all. So I think Canelo probably thought at that time, well, I can take this all day. I'm going to keep letting you do this, let you tire yourself out a little bit, and I'm going to wait for my opportunity. And that's exactly what he did.
So it brings me on to my next point when we're looking at advantages and disadvantages. With that in mind, and we agree that Canelo's difficult to hurt, if nigh on impossible, right? Can Canelo afford to take one, to give one with Crawford?
Yeah.
And that's something that Crawford has to be a bit wary of, doesn't he? Like,
given what we've seen, but we've got to remember, we've seen how he's put the weight on in the build-up of this fight. So, in the past, looking at what Crawford gives power-wise, could he hurt Canelo? No. How different is it going to be now with this extra weight?
Yeah, true. I mean, thinking about Crawford as well.
I don't think he's not naturally going to be able to carry the weight as well as Golovkin could. Golovkin couldn't knock him out.
Nah, and that's the problem in it. And Bivol just peppered him, and he wasn't going anywhere. And I think the thing with Crawford as well, like, as much as he's like, obviously he's a great finisher, I don't think he's ever had like super concussive power. No. I think it's more like because of the angles he uses and the IQ. It's like they say the punches you don't see coming. Like, do you know? Yeah,
it's the wear and down, just that chipping at that.
But it'll be interesting to see what happens when, because I do think Bud will be able to sort of pull him into sort of areas where he didn't expect to be, and that's not taking anything away from Canelo's ring IQ. But I think Bud's is just on another level to Canelo's. But it'll be interesting to see what happens when Bud does land flush with a good shot.
How Canelo reacts.
No, I was going to say how Bud reacts, because we know Canelo's going to react. He's going to shrug it off.
Yeah, but then I think he'll be a little bit more cautious after that if he is. Because he knows it's not just a one-off shot.
Because he'll know himself whether he's got anything more to give in it.
This is a man that can dance and move and switch his feet up to southpaw. Yeah. You know, if he gets you once, you know he's going to get you 2 and 3 times.
Mm-hmm. And like I say, the thing with Crawford as well, like what I love about him as well, is like he'll never just run around the ring. Do you know what I mean? He won't like evade and just like dip in and out.
No.
Do you know what I mean? He's a come forward fighter and he likes to engage.
Yeah, you see, we look at his plan A, plan B, plan C, and D, or obviously chapter 1, 2, 3 of Boxing 101. They're all going forward.
Yeah.
They're all going forward.
Yeah.
And I think this might be the fight where he possibly can't do that.
Because it's just too big a jump.
Too big of a jump.
Too big of a jump.
Yeah. And that's when you might see him try to hold the range a bit more, try and stay on the outside a bit more, which is not what you'd usually see from him. You know, when you look at Caleb Plant, outside all time.
Yeah, and he boxed very well on the outside of Canelo, didn't he? But I just think Canelo, like, that was back when Canelo was cutting the ring off as well, when he was struggling to get near people, he cut the ring off.
When he had that side step to try and pull him back on the other way where he wanted.
Yeah, and he does that long stride to like cut it off. And I think that's one of the problems, like, there's a lot of things being said now about Canelo recently, he's slowed down, his legs are maybe isn't the person. He's been in, obviously, like, that skull situation was ridiculous. He just ran away. You know, to an extent, Belanga, once he got dropped, he sort of avoided him a bit. After that, you got, like, obviously Charlo came in, and after 30 seconds or a minute or so, once he tasted the power, he didn't want to know he'd ran, do you know what I mean? And is it just a case of he thinks, like, well, I don't need to chase these people around now? Like, because you have to go to beat a champion, don't you?
Well, that's it.
And
the ball's, he's got the ball.
Yeah.
You've got to come and get it.
I can understand with the Skull situation because obviously this fight was already made and all he had to do was not get injured.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was never going to lose it.
And if you look at the venue...
Yeah, well, that was when he went to Riyadh, wasn't it? Like, that's a...
Yeah, but you look where it is now. Where does his fight decisions normally favour anyway?
Yeah, in Vegas.
No. So, I think it's... Crawford's got to go and win it.
Yeah, Crawford has to go and take the marbles, doesn't he? Because obviously Canelo's established at that weight. He's got all the marbles.
He's got to be convincing.
Yeah. And
to be convincing, you're going to put yourself in a position where you could be hit a lot more often.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and that's what's so intriguing about this fight. Like, I just don't know. Like, it's, and I know Crawford he's a master with game plan. Like we've mentioned, the Errol Spence fight where he just pulled him into traps and just pop. But I don't think he's going to be able to sort of move the tide around with Canelo in that fashion. You know what I mean? Because Canelo won't be sucked in. He won't panic. He won't rush. I don't think he'll be able to dictate
the position in the ring.
Yeah.
Where he has in the past.
Yeah. But it's just like I say, it's a case of can he put a dent in him? I don't think he can. So therefore, he has to outclass him. Yeah,
but again, when we seen the Billy Joe Saunders fight, me and you both spoke on this, and we both agreed that Billy Joe Saunders has got the ability to just get in, get out, score, get in, get out, score. But you can't do that for 12 rounds.
No, that's
You're
it,
going to
isn't
get
it?
caught.
You know, are you just going to be on the end of one sooner or later?
It's not a 6-round fight.
No,
it's not a 24-foot ring.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, but what happens, like we were saying there, hypothetically, or inevitably, could be either or. What happens when Canelo does land flush on Bud? Because I can't recall Bud ever being like looking like he's in desperate trouble.
No, and this is where you come down to the resumes as well, isn't it? Yeah. When you look at Canelo's fought and beat.
Yes.
Against Crawford.
And you had that little interaction when it first got set up, didn't you?
We all thought Errol Spence was going to be his biggest test.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, he put on an absolute masterclass, but he walked the fight.
Yeah, which is more of a testament to how good he is. Like,
yes.
But he told us how long, didn't he? He said it wouldn't be close.
No. And he was right, but has he been really tested?
So look at the first interaction where the first got made and there was.
When I say really tested, don't get me wrong. I take nothing away from Crawford. I think he's a guaranteed Hall of Famer, and I think if he does manage to beat Canelo, he'd be cemented.
Oh, I mean, if Crawford goes up to 168, right, and beats Canelo, right, you're looking at
outrage.
But the thing is, not only the three different weights undisputed. It's not like he's gone like 1 foot, 1 foot. It's like it's that massive jump to then be undisputed that way. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And like honestly, he'd have to go down easy. Top 3 or 4 pound of all time, if not top. Do you know what? I don't even want to think about that yet. Wait and see what happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting fight.
Like I say, I've never seen Crawford in trouble, but that first interaction that they had when they were talking about resumes and who's you fought and who you fought, and he said he's never fought anyone elite. This was Canelo to Crawford, obviously. Yeah. And Crawford said he went, what, Victor Postal wasn't elite? And obviously Canelo sort of won that first sort of psychological battle. He was like, sort of pulled the McGregor out, and he went, who was that guy? And then he said, and then something that I really disagreed with, as much as I liked watching him back in the day, and when he said, oh, what, Ricky Burns wasn't elite? No, Ricky Burns wasn't.
I love Ricky Burns. Massive fan.
Good champion, but
British boxer.
British champion. He wasn't elite, was he? Do you know what I mean?
British champion level.
He never done anything out of the ordinary that would separate the champions from the elite.
No, and that would ever sort of excel you and leap you into that sort of level.
Yeah, I mean when they asked,
he was a grafter.
I think when they asked Crawford who his best win was, I think he said Gamboa. Like, it was someone who showed like quite a lot of fucking promise early doors, but then like sort of dropped off a little bit. But getting back to it. He's got the skills, you know, he's got the ability to sort of like
absolutely
to certainly go to work, but I just wonder whether it is just chipping away at that immovable object.
Yeah, it's a pretty obvious point, but it's all going to come down to how well he carries that weight. Is he going to have that extra bit of power that you'd expect from the weight,
or is he going to gas out quicker?
Exactly, which 9 times out of 10 usually
because obviously Canelo is he like Canelo.
Well, you see when he stepped up against Bivol.
Canelo will walk around at like 172, 165.
Yeah, but you see when he stepped up against Bivol. I just feel he down in the fight mentally.
Yeah, because like Canelo's used to bullying people, isn't he? Do you know, because he's generally the bigger person at the weight. Do you know what I mean? It was like, but the thing with Bivol, like I say, I gave Bivol like 11 rounds in that fight. Like, and I don't even feel like bad saying it.
I don't think Canelo came into that fight with the same energy he has previously.
I think Bivol sort of squashed the energy early doors when he realised he couldn't really push it around. You know what I mean? But like there's a lot of people saying like, I mean, you know, Bormack, obviously Crawford's trainer. He's saying about like. He's going to get bullied, he's going to get pushed, but don't be surprised if you like, because he's a strong person for whatever his frame is. But
I don't think he'd be bullied as such. I don't think he'd be bullied. I think he's got too much of an IQ to just
Bormack seems to think that Crawford will be able to push Canelo around, win the clinches, and just outstrength him, overpower him.
See, the clinches, how you would attack him as say a lightweight against a heavyweight, they're completely different.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't get a lightweight grab an opponent and trying to lean in on him, trying to weigh on his legs, where you would with a heavier fighter. So the previous sort of experience where he's maybe trying to bully people, it's going to be a completely different game.
Yeah.
It's going to be a completely different game. But he does look fantastic at the weight, to be fair. But like you say, is that just coming off a bit of pad work? He's got a bit of swell going on, he's looking really good, glistening in the way.
Or is it that...
is he going to carry that in the fight? I don't know.
Snack endorsement. But, like, the thing, like, I'd say I showed you in the last week, say, obviously, he ripped at 186, and it was like, now I'm going to cut to 168, so don't worry about me carrying the weight and whatnot. But, like, there's all these,
there's
these variables.
Is there any rehydration
No, there's
clause?
no rehydration clause. Like, this is how fucking, like, mental Bud Crawford is. He's jumping. Do you know what? I hate saying he's going to jump from 154. Like, he's had one little dip into 154 after all the years 147. For me, he's jumped from 147.
It's a three-weight jump.
Yeah, to 168. He's gone no rehydration clause. Like, literally no fucks given. I think like one of the things about what makes
he's
it
allowing Canelo to beef up even more, dehydrate and then rehydrate.
Yeah. But like you say, all he has to do is, like you say, he gets down to 168 and you can rehydrate. I mean, like, what would you expect? Like,
I don't think it would do it Canelo any favours beefing up anymore, though. Because I think he needs to maintain that speed.
He won't do it, he'll feel natural at that, won't he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I say, like, I don't expect Crawford to be buzzing around with... Well, in saying footwork, it just depends for me. Because I think Crawford is probably the best switch hitter of all time. Like, off both hands, when he just... switches go, and I'm talking about not like, oh well that round didn't work so I'm going to go. He will literally just switch within like halfway through a combo, like whatever the angle dictates. He'll do it.
Better than Lomachenko.
Nah, I don't know. Like Lomachenko wasn't like a massive switch hitter for me. Like obviously he'd move his feet and he'd go to work, but when I say like obviously with the switch hitter, when Crawford will like put power shots in like off either side. You know what I mean? He'll vary up within the space of like 10-20 seconds. And I just think it's a case of like, obviously, we know Canelo might just give them first couple of rounds away and see what's going on.
I think both fighters will do that.
Do you think so, really?
I think it'd be very tentative first couple of rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because of the weight difference.
I don't know. I just think like sort of strategy wise, it might be good for like. Obviously, we know Canelo's going to try and like just watch him for a few rounds. So if he comes out orthodox, like sort of like
I think
mirrors the stance, and then
I think you see Canelo
once Canelo looks comfortable, then switch to southpaw.
I think you see Canelo trying to take the centre ring early and try and see how Crawford's going to come in.
That'll be the interesting thing for me when we watch it on Saturday, like the first round, just to see how determined they are to try and take the centre ring, whether there's a battle for it, whether they're willing to like sort of give it up. Do you know what I mean?
Canelo's expected to take the centre ring.
He's expected to.
And I think he will.
But like you say, you talk about Bud's ring IQ and ring gentlemanship. Do you know what I mean? Like he could maybe.
And that placed him on the outside. That placed him on the outside a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think you're gonna have 2-3 rounds where you're gonna see Canelo taking the centre of the ring, and you're gonna have Crawford switching up a little bit, going around him left and right, trying to see where he's
up, see how he reacts.
Yeah. The term flat-footed is very harsh, and he's not by any.
Well, Canelo's never been his
last few fights.
He's never been fleet-foot. He's
been a little bit too static for me.
Yeah,
but I guess that comes when you're in your last stages of your career. You know, I certainly don't mean it as too derogatory or anything like that, because he's still an amazing boxer. But I think he has been a little bit too flat-footed.
Yeah.
If you're going to come up against the likes of Crawford.
Yeah, but like I say, he's never been fleet of foot, has he? But like, one thing he hasn't done in the last few fights, and I don't know whether that's because like he's uninspired by the opponent, but that's down to him as well. Like we haven't seen him when people run away. We haven't seen him cut the ring off like he used to. I mean, but look, we could spend probably hours talking about this.
Yeah.
Past opponents, past performances, CVs, variables, weights, slowing down.
And this is one of the fights where I don't think anybody really knows what's going to happen.
I certainly don't. Like I've changed my mind maybe 3-4 times. Do you know what it is? I don't really have a favourite dog in the fight.
No, I don't either.
All I want to see is a good contest, because it's top level of the sport and it needs to represent the sport in the right way.
We need a good decision.
And the right man wins.
Yeah, and I think everyone would be happy with that. There's very few fights where you can see higher level boxing where you're not really wanting to go either way. You're just wanting a good, entertaining fight.
You just want the best man to win it. Do you
Yeah,
know, like,
and with this fight, this is, for me, it echoes Bivol Buteviev. A lot of people say styles make fights. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think it's the calibre of the boxers is going to make the fight this time.
well, the styles are too contrasting, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're too contrasting.
Yeah. It's going to be awkward for either fighter.
Yeah.
And I think the sheer calibre of both boxers is what's going to make this fight.
I think years from now it would have been easier to pick a win if we just had the pound for pound discussion. They
Yeah.
never ever met.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
like pound for pound who would have won out of Crawford Canelo. Like pound for pound who would have won out of Roy Jones Jr. Fucking maybe a light
And
heavyweight.
usually
UFC.
you don't expect a really good fight when you're talking about different weights and joining sort of a catch sort of weight. But then you've seen Conor Benn and
Chris Eubank Jr. And obviously they're getting ready to run it back on with the exact same set.
What a fight that was.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
It was a great fight.
Yeah, probably fight of the year
So far.
so far. Yeah.
See what happens Saturday.
Yeah. See what happens Saturday. So let me ask you this. So we're going to watch it Saturday, and obviously we're going to be doing little bits for anyone that wants to watch it. How are you going to feel, right, when we're sat watching it? We're both probably in agreement who we think has won the fight. And you hear Judge 1 scores it 115, 113, Canelo. Judge 2 scores it 115, 113, Crawford. And then you get that bit like you saw there where the big sort of exclamation mark rises out the stadium, right? And then you're thinking, I should have backed the draw,
Yeah, I should have shot the another draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think when you look at sort of boxers when they're going at this sort of, I don't like using the term twilight because I still think they're so brilliant. But this is a fight that neither fighter's got nowhere. They've got nowhere else to go after this.
So regardless of the result,
rematch.
I mean, if it's a draw, then they're going to do a rematch and they're going to run it back.
Yeah, but if you're going to win either way, I mean, there's nowhere.
Where do they go?
For me, there's nowhere for either
Like
fighter to go.
Crawford does the impossible. Goes 3 different ways, undisputed.
Yeah.
Cements him in the top 3-4 names all time of the sport.
Yeah, I mean, he's
solid.
You said already he's a Hall of Famer. But
well, what does he do then? He can't stick around 168. Like
no.
Especially if he's beat Canelo. Like, what's he then just go through?
Everyone else that Canelo's already been through.
He can't go back down. He has to retire at that point, doesn't he?
Yeah. Or like you say, very much.
Well, it'd be interesting to see, won't it? But I don't know whether just like
the only fight that's maybe got an option is Canelo could try going back up again.
But he can't, no, can he? Because like, what avenue has he got at like heavyweight?
I don't think he's a peak enough to go again against Bivol or even step in with Buteviev.
He was sort of his depth with Bivol. I don't think he'll explore light heavyweight again. But do you know what it is? I think the romanticist in me like to see is like a split decision draw and both fighters retire. You know what I mean? Because I know Crawford would be disappointed not getting the job done, but there'd be no shame in getting a draw against Canelo.
Absolutely not stepping up.
Especially at this stage. But do you know what? This is the beauty of boxing, isn't it?
It is.
But I do think the fight will deliver in the ways that, you know, the people that are interested want it to. Maybe more.
Yeah.
But
I think anybody that's really into the boxing is going to be happy with the fight either way.
yeah.
You know, even if you think it's maybe a bit of a stalemate, he's still going to appreciate the technicalities.
And that's the difference between casuals and fans. Not taking anything away from the casuals, do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
no.
sometimes the casuals bring a lot to the sport, and obviously
They bring everything to the sport, to be fair.
Yeah. But no, I just hope we see a good contest and the right man wins.
Yeah, I think we will.
So obviously we'll reconvene on Saturday during and after the fight.
Yeah.
Hopefully anyone has took the time to watch us. We appreciate you taking your time out. If you got,
Give me a name.
give you a name, what?
Winner.
Nah.
No, one name.
No.
Go.
Do you want
If you had to pick one, go.
Crawford on points?
Canelo for me.
On points.
Yes.
Yeah. I just can't see the fight getting stopped. I really can't. But it would not surprise me whatever the outcome is.
No.
Because
it's so
I
close.
hate you for trying to make me pick on you.
Gotta keep you going.
But yeah, well that's we'll see how it goes. But do you know what? If you've enjoyed it, leave us a comment. Tell us who you think will win. We'll be back with you with some during the fight footage and a reaction to the result. Hopefully, like we say, the right man wins, and we're not on the end of another boxing robbery. But this has been the pilot episode of Don't Gas the Belt, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.